Hi, I'm Pam Crone. I work for the California Marine Sanctuary Foundation as their Ag Water Quality Coordinator. I've had the good fortune the past 2.5 years to work on a California Department of Food and Agriculture Healthy Soils project called Demonstrating Practices to Improve Soil Health, Regenerate Plant Growth, and Store Carbon in the pasture lands used for small animal production. We've had help from many people and organizations throughout the grant project, and I'm grateful to all of them for their technical assistance, project direction, and help, as well as for giving us a home to test these practices and the desire to see improvements on their own ranches. The climate affects the ocean in several ways. It affects it physically, chemically, biologically, and it also affects the people who live on and near the ocean. You might wonder why the California Marine Sanctuary Foundation is interested in a Healthy Soils project. The reason is that there are practices that ranchers and farmers can use that store carbon in the soils of working lands by taking carbon dioxide out of the air and putting that carbon into plants and also into the soils below the ground. By taking it out of the atmosphere, that carbon is no longer above the ocean where it can enter the ocean and cause various physical, chemical, biological problems in the ocean, as well as social and economic problems for the people that live near the ocean. We have 3 project goals. Our first is to improve soil health and sequester greenhouse gases by adding compost and planting hedgerows. Our second goal is to discover whether compost addition increases forage production and whether this is economical for the farmers. Our third goal is to demonstrate practices regionally to growers and ranchers so that we can provide education regarding soil health benefits and spread these practices to other ranches and farms locally. We have an experimental design for our project. For compost addition, we have 3 different fields on Fiesta Farm, and each of these 3 fields has 3 controls and 3 treatment plots. We're adding 4 tons of compost per acre and a total of 6 tons per year. All of this compost has a high carbon to nitrogen ratio of 16:1, and it's a green-based organic compost that we're using. On Monkey Flower Ranch, we're also adding compost for 3 consecutive years on 3 control and 3 treatment plots with a high carbon to nitrogen ratio and 4 tons per acre. Goal 1 is to improve soil health and sequester greenhouse gases by adding compost and planting hedgerows on these 2 small ranches. If we have a goal, we have to have a way to measure whether we're making progress in achieving and accomplishing that goal. We chose 4 progress measurements. One is soil organic matter. The second is plant growth. The third is whether there's a change in outside resource requirements. And our fourth is a change in above ground plant biodiversity and variety. Our first soil organic measure, these are our results after the 2nd year of compost addition. Our first soil organic measure was prior to adding compost, and then we took a 2nd and a 3rd measure. We've seen a change in soil organic matter on every single plot, both the control plots and the compost plots. This measure is changed between a 0.8% increase and a 2% increase in soil organic matter, and this represents both between a 42% increase and a 280% increase. So why did soil organic matter go up both on control and on compost plots? One reason could be that 2018 was a low precipitation year and there was a lot of exposed soil. So the first measurement was during a bad time. The second measurement could be because our sample timing varied. We weren't able to do the measurement at the same time every year because of grant constraints. Our third reason is that perhaps soil health actually improved on both control and compost plots as the ranchers learn more about soil health and put additional practices into place on their farms. Soil health measure 2 is peak standing biomass. This is a measure of plant growth at the peak of the season following the spring rains. We took quadrats and placed them in each plot at several places, kept the plants within that quadrat, dried and weighed them. We also did photo monitoring using Grass Snap as an app. Our results showed that at Fiesta Farm, peak standing biomass increased by 49% in Field 1 on the compost plots, and they increased by 179% on Field 2 in the compost plots. In all cases, the control plots showed a decline in peak standing biomass. At Monkeyflower Ranch, we again saw an increase in peak standing biomass, the amount of forage growing in the spring season on the compost addition plots of 39% and a diminishment on the control plots of 49%. The second aspect of Goal 1 was to improve soil health and to increase greenhouse gas sequestration. Our two measures for greenhouse gas sequestration were the predictions of a model called Comet Planner, and also back to the same changes in soil organic matter, because soil organic matter really is a measure of the amount of carbon in the soil. And this carbon comes both from the compost as a source, but it also comes from the increased microbial growth that's seen under the soil and the sequestration of carbon into the body material of soil microbes. At Monkeyflower Ranch and Fiesta Farm, Comet Planner predicted that we'd increase carbon sequestration by 60 metric tons a year on the compost addition and 3 metric tons a year on the hedgerow plantings. This is equivalent to a carbon offset of 14 cars. Our conclusions from our monitoring results are that Comet Planner predicted carbon sequestration of 63 metric tons a year. We increased soil organic matter in both control and compost treatment fields. The hedgerows were successful. We had good plant survival and growth. And peak standing biomass increased in all compost fields and decreased in all control fields at both farms. Our second goal was to see whether compost addition was economical. This is a goal where we measured both the costs and the benefits. The total cost of compost addition was $7,600 for all 3 years. Our benefits included increased forage production, lower inputs, less hay imported, lower water use, and increased drought resilience. We've not yet been able to put a dollar value on these, so we can't directly compare it with the costs. But the benefits go above and beyond the farm benefits. There are also ecosystem benefits that are received by the broader community, and these include the greenhouse gas sequestration, which if we use the carbon market in California to value that sequestration, it amounts to $2,600 over the 3-year period, yet these benefits are predicted to extend for 20 years into the future, so that doesn't explain the total expected benefit. We've also seen an increase in water efficiency due to the soil organic matter and a savings of over 1 million gallons in the 3 years of the project. In addition, there are other benefits that can't be measured, such as the benefits to marine life in the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Our third goal is to demonstrate practices regionally to growers and ranchers by providing education regarding soil health and agronomic benefits. We've had a total of 6 outreach events. We chose interesting topics that would compel growers and ranchers to attend, and we also included outreach that described the soil health benefits from our practices and how they related to the topics. In addition to these 6 outreach events, we also conducted open houses and ranch tours and hedgerow planting days at both ranches. And in all of our evaluations, we directed questions to the participants about whether they would intend to incorporate the practices they learned about at their ranch, farm, or on their property. We measured the success of our outreach events both by attendance and also by the number of people who plan to implement healthy soils practices on their ranches or properties. Our attendance was in total 347 people at the different events, and 160 of these were ranchers or farmers. Out of those people attending, 140 people intend to apply compost on their properties, 81 intend to apply hedgerows, and there were 8 other practices, and there were a total of 409 practices that would be implemented across the various properties of attendees. In addition, many of our attendees have applied for Healthy Soils grants in future offerings of this program or for NRCS money to assist them in implementing these projects. I want to thank everyone who's been an important part of this project and its success. The Technical Advisory Committee, who helped with planning and preparation, the UC Cooperative Extension, who helped with our plant surveys and cost studies, and the many presenters who informed us of the practices that they've put in use at different events or the research outcomes from those practices. And especially I want to thank the ranchers who allowed us to do this work on their farms and who helped all along the way with practice implementation, with keeping track of how things were going, and with presenting at our outreach events as well as hosting multiple tours on their ranches and participating all along the way. Thank you, thank you, thank you.